There's 191 community foundations in our country, and they collectively hold over $6 billion in assets. We're one of the oldest community foundation movements in the world. We're almost 100 years old. And there's certain things that we love. We love donors. Not just any type of donor. We love the richest donors. We love the 1%, right? These are the folks that played the game of capitalism and hit the jackpot. They have so much money, they don't even need it. They have so much money, even their children don't need it. They have so much money, even their grandchildren don't need it. And that's where we come in. That's why I love capitalism. So we're the beneficiaries of excessive wealth. Excessive wealth creation. And what do we do with that money when we get it? We invest it. And where do we invest it? We invest it in the capital markets. We buy stocks that mine, companies that produce and mine oil and gas, and we ship it all over the world, and we create wealth. And every community foundation has an investment committee. And what do? They maximize returns. They create more wealth and more inequality and more privilege. And folks like me, we get more power. We love it. I should be Russell Peters. Capitalism created us. I'm vested in capitalism. Without it, I have nothing. I have no money, I have no power, and I have no privilege. I am your biggest impediment to shifting the power. I am your biggest impediment for change. And guess what? There's a lot of folks like me. Right? We are vested in the very system that we're trying to change. That's the problem. Our system of philanthropy, as I mentioned, it comes from capitalism, particularly the one in Canada. In the second and third industrial revolutions, industrial titans like Rockefeller, Carnegie, and Ford created massive amounts of wealth. And then they created us, foundations. And why did they create those things? They created them to do good. And they created them as natural distractions because they weren't earning their wealth in the most ethical and socially responsible ways. And they needed distractions, and so they created us. We are the products of capitalism. Thanks, Jerry. Does anybody see the circular nature of the argument that I am trying to make? We use capitalism. We leverage it. We demand it to work so that we can do what? Solve for the problems it creates. That's the predicament that we're in. And the only way that we can change that is that people like me, we need a whole different set of incentives. Every year, my board sits down and they do a performance review. And every year, I get a raise because I create more money, I create more power, and I create more privilege. That's what I am incentivized to do, and there are many of me. I'm not incentivized to make the world a better place. I'm not incentivized to solve for inequality, and I'm not incentivized to protect the environment. In fact, the contrary. I'm incentivized to perpetuate inequality and to degrade the environment. The only way to change and to shift the power is to create a whole new set of incentives. Thank you. Appreciate the time.